Hey everyone, it's Asia Dang. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. Today we are going to talk about taxes. I posted this video or this stories on my master plan IG, basically reminding independent contractors it's a new year, so set up however you do your taxes accordingly. I got a lot of messages asking me to do a video about how I set up my taxes. I have to say, kind of saving for taxes and figuring out your taxes as an independent contractor is pretty tricky, specifically for someone in my space. I am a content creator, so I get paid from various types of like companies and businesses. So if I don't get my forms in, and I kind of base my taxes off of those forms and I'm missing some forms, then I'm kind of screwed, right? And by forms, I mean 1099. I'm trying to show you without showing like important information here. And as you can see, this is my taxes from 2 years ago. There's a lot of them. And if, one gets lost in the mail, if some company or brand just doesn't send you one for some reason, and you base your taxes off of the amount of 1099 forms you get, you could be off. So again, I've had to deal with this situation, which is why I know about this. So the way I do it kind of doesn't take into account 1099s. And I just feel like that's kind of just the easiest way to protect yourself from possibly basing your tax forms on forms that you might not get, if that makes sense. We're just gonna start from the beginning. This might not pertain to you, but I'm just gonna describe everything that I do step by step, and you can decide what steps are right for you and what steps you wanna use, okay? I get a brand deal, all right? Because that's just where, I would say now that's where all my money comes from, is brand deals. So what happens is I have a Google Drive or a Google Docs page, and it has all of my payments and what the brand is, what the payment is, what the social media obligations are. So whether I have to post a YouTube video, an IG stories, IG picture, yada yada. Date of upload, if there's a specific date they need it to be uploaded on. I'll put I'll put kind of a template of what I have in the description box so you can check it out. And then I have terms of payment. So terms of payment means just how long it's gonna take for you to get your money, ideally, essentially. And then I have a payment breakdown, which is different from terms of payment. So payment breakdown kind of means sometimes brands will pay you differently. Maybe it's 15 days after invoice, maybe it's 30 days after last post, maybe it's 50 now, 50 later. So it can get a little confusing, and just to make sure you can keep track of your payments, I think a payment date breakdown page is a really important category to have as an independent contractor. Now we go to your payment status. Sometimes it's paid in full, sometimes it's half paid at a certain date, and waiting for the next half, so stuff like that. And then on the end I have contact and contact information. Fortunately for me, because I do have management, they are in charge of contacting brands if they don't pay me. So the moment I post something for them, they go into red, okay? They are a red line until they pay me. And once they pay me, they go to black, everything is good. But that keeps me alerted to see what people have paid me and what people have not. We all remember my whole little issue with ASICs a couple years ago where they didn't pay me for, I think it was either 2 or 3 years. And that's because I had them in red for the longest time. And finally I called them out on YouTube, and they finally paid me. But the red catches your eye, it keeps you on notice. Again, thankfully, I think that's an important aspect of having a management team, is because they do that for you. Okay, you're not the bad guy in this situation. They do that for you. But I do know people who are independent contractors that don't have a management team, and they're scared to get their money back. And you can't be. You have to remember that you did the work. you did what they asked for, and it's time for them, and they have to pay you. Don't be scared to ask for your money that you made, that you earned, that you deserved, okay? So that's all I have to say for that. After I post for brands, they're red, and when they pay me, they go back to normal color black. But if they continue to be red forever and ever, then, you know, shit's going down. So what happens when I get a paycheck, right? I get a check in the mail. Yay! And then I open it. And what happens is I am with an agency and I have a management team. So they automatically get 20%. Even before I get my paycheck, they've already taken 20% off the top. If a brand paid me $1,000 to do something, right? My management team and my agency have already taken 200. Okay, so that's gone. And then for me, because of the tax bracket I am in, I have to save 30% of the $1,000. So that's 300. So basically, when all is said and done, I only get to keep 50% of my paycheck, which is fine. I mean, that's just kind of the business that I'm in. Would I love to keep more? Of course I would. But 50% of, you know, a really nice chunk of money is better than 100% of no money. So that's how I go about thinking and being okay with giving away 50% to, as a total, to other people. And then what I do in my planner is I'll write down, probably in my monthly budget, right next to my monthly budget, I'll write down the brand, and then I'll write down what they gave me, so like $1,000 for instance, since we're going down that. And then I'll do 20% for management fees, and then I'll do 30% for taxes. Oh, I also do want to mention, this is not necessary. It's just something I keep just for my records for the year until I do my taxes. But I have a pay stubs folder, so every time I get paid, it goes in here until my taxes are completed. And it also helps me keep track because even though I do have my Google Docs page, sometimes maybe I forget to turn a brand that's red into black even though they paid me, and then I'll contact my team and say, hey, so-and-so didn't pay me, can you check it out? And they said, well, you know, they did pay you like last month. And then I'll go into my records and say, oh yeah, you're right. Or I don't know, I still didn't get it. Can we just double check? So there's just a lot of places as an independent contractor where you can forget you have money, forget that people owe you money. It's just really hard to keep track of everything. So just holding on to as many things as possible and having a lot of fail safes works for me. So that's why I keep this. Once I deposit my check into my bank, my main bank, what I will do is I'll transfer 30% and put it into a totally different account. That way it is out of sight, out of mind. I do not have to worry about it. Right now I'm using Ally, again, trying to leave them because I don't align ethically with them. However, the great thing about Ally is that you can open up as many checking and savings accounts for free as you want. I have not found another bank that does that. That's why I like Ally, and I'm trying to leave them, but there's just no banks out there that offer unlimited. I wouldn't say unlimited. I'm sure there's some kind of limit, but they don't limit you to just one checking account and one savings account for free. So now we're just kind of waiting until, you know, tax season arrives, right? The cool thing about being an independent contractor, which I mentioned, is you can write off a ton of things. So keep your receipts. Anything that you use for your job you can write off in taxes. So our apartment, Brian and I can both write off for taxes because he choreographs right in the living room. I shoot videos, we both edit at home. So our apartment is a tax write-off. When I say tax write-off, I don't mean that this whole apartment is free. Like, that is not the case. But we do get some like kind of credit that comes back to us. Same with cell phones, same with the internet. We use the internet every day for work, so that's a tax write-off. The other day I bought a charcuterie board for a photo shoot. That's a tax write-off. So anything that you use for your work as a content creator, as a photographer, as a graphic designer, is a tax write-off. If you had to buy Adobe Premiere, that's a tax write-off. If you needed to buy a new iPad or an iPad pen to do your graphic designs, that's a tax write-off. So we do have a lot of opportunity to write things off during taxes. Again, this is my tax write-off sheet. These are the categories that I have built. I will put this template in the description box as well. And then I kind of just write everything that I ever buy for anything, for a video or for a photo, and I put it in here. I add it all up before I talk to Doug, and he will say, yep, that works. Nope, that doesn't. And that's just how I do it. I do have to say, as an independent contractor, doing my own taxes was just never an option. That is why I have Doug. For me, taxes are just very confusing. And if I can just pay someone a little extra money to do them for me and make sure they're done correctly the first time, then that is something that's worth it to me. That being said, Doug is actually more affordable than H&R Block. I used H&R Block, I would say maybe like 8 years ago. And the guy charged me $500, and at that point I was maybe making $30,000 a year, maybe $25,000 a year, and I didn't have that money to give. But Doug only charges me a couple $100, $300 I would say, to do my taxes. So again, an expense I'm willing to pay. I think it is so important. I don't trust myself to do my taxes, especially with everything going on as an independent contractor. So I'm not going to urge you to spend the extra money if you know how to do it, or maybe you have like a family member who can do it for you. But for me, paying someone to do my taxes is just like one of the best yearly expenses of my life. So as you can see, we have a lot of paperwork, right? We have a lot of things going on. We have receipts, we have pay stubs, we have me writing stuff down. So we have a lot of stuff going on. So you can be the most prepared person in the world, but there's always something missing. So this is what we do now. And this is probably the easiest way to do it if you solely get paid as an independent contractor, which is what I do. So what I do is I go to my main account where all my money is deposited into. And then I go to statements, and then I download every statement from last year. So January through December are the statements that I download. So I download every month, January through December, go to the checking summary, and then I look at the deposits line, and that is what we base I feel like I'm a president talking like this, but that's what we base our taxes off of, is those deposits. Forms, we don't really use them. These are just kind of like a ceremonial piece of paper as far as I'm concerned. So the deposits in my checking account, plus the amount I saved for taxes, which is all in my account, that's kind of like a good fail-safe for us to figure out exactly how much I owe in taxes. And that might not be like the most clearest explanation, but taxes for independent contractors are just not clear, and they're very confusing. So again, you have to have a lot of fail-safes. Also, I do want to mention, I am still a sole proprietor. That is what I am for my taxes. I know there's people who say, you should be like an LLC, you should be an S Corp, you should be all of that. But basically all that means, the reason why you would apply to be an LLC or an S Corp is if you have any liability. It protects you from being sued, essentially. I don't have any assets for people to steal from me. I don't own a house. I don't have that much money in like my checking account for people to steal, or for people to like get if they were to sue me. But if you had If you owned a house and had $1 million in a bank, then yeah, you definitely want to protect yourself with an LLC or an S Corp. So for me, I don't have any assets to protect, which is why as of right now, I am just a sole proprietor. And really the main difference really between a sole proprietor and an LLC and like an S Corp is that if you're in an LLC or an S Corp, then you pay someone more money to do your taxes, like thousands of dollars more. So if you don't have to, I wouldn't recommend it. And that's also based on Doug telling me every year I'm asking him, should I be an S Corp yet? Like, is this an opportunity to do an LLC? And he's like, no, you don't have any assets to protect. Save your money. Like, and that's Doug. Like he could be charging me thousands of dollars to do my taxes if I change my status to be an LLC or S Corp. But he's like, no, save your money. You're not at that point yet. I talked to him yesterday, actually, he said, you know, maybe next year, but not yet. Anyway, so I just wanted to put that out there. Again, do what you're comfortable with. This is just kind of a video of me telling you what I do and where I am coming from. So, you know, there's that. Talk to whoever is knowledgeable in your life about taxes, about what you should do, but just take what I'm saying as, I guess kind of like a lesson in a way. My 2020 write-off tax doc and my payment form will be in the description box if you want to go ahead and download it and adjust it to your needs to fit whatever you do. Please go ahead and do that. If there's anything else that I feel like I've forgotten for this video, I will put any resources in the description box for you. But yeah, that's it. Hope this was helpful. If you have any ways that you have found work really well for you for taxes as an independent contractor, please let us know in the comment section. Again, this is just the way I do it. There's no right or wrong way to prepare for taxes, as long as you save the appropriate amount for whatever tax bracket you are, and have someone you trust who knows what they're doing to do your taxes with you or for you, or kind of help you, guide you if you want to do it yourself, so you're not screwed at the end of the day. Yes? Okay. I'm Aisha Dang. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next video. Bye.